joining me live. So I'll be doing the preview of the match between North Korea and Japan. North Korea will take on Japan in the ongoing FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. The match will be played by 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Of course, the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup is currently ongoing in Morocco. So tonight, we are going to get to see North Korea, the defending champions, take on Japan. The match will be played by 8 p.m. Nigerian time. And then few hours ago, we saw Brazil winning their match against Canada, defeating Canada 5-4 on penalties after the match ended goalless. And then what a match it was. Canada, don't forget, Canada played against the Flamingos of Nigeria in the group stage and they defeated Nigeria 4-1. So Canada are out of this tournament now. They lost to Brazil on penalties. They lost to Brazil 5-4 on penalties. And then funny enough, Brazil were second in their own group. In the group stage, Brazil was second in group. But during the group stage, Brazil was second in group A. Why the Canadians were first in their own group. They were first in the group D, but Brazil was second. And now in the round of 16, though, Brazil won their match in the round of 16. They defeated China 3-0, while Canada also won their match, defeating Zambia 6-0. So the two teams met today, and then we saw Brazil triumphing over Canada in the match on penalties. And then tonight, we have another blockbuster, North Korea versus Japan, two former champions. Talk about North Korea. North Korea have won the title 3 times. For Japan, they won it once, and that was in 2014. But North Korea have won it 3 times. They won it the most times. They won it the most times in the history of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. So North Korea have the most titles. They are the most successful team. They won it 3 times. And in the very first edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, the maiden edition in 2008, North Korea won it. They won the first ever edition of the 2018 FIFA Under-17 Women's. They won the first ever edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, and they also won the last edition in Dominican Republic. So what a game we have tonight. I'm talking about this ongoing competition. Don't forget that in the group stage, 130 goals were scored, and we saw 36 games. That was in the group stage. In the round of 16, we saw 27 goals scored, and we saw 8 matches played. That's talking about the round of 16. 27 goals scored, 8 matches played, and then in the quarterfinals, now we're going to see 4 matches played. And already in today's match, the match played early today, we didn't get to see any goal. It ended in a goalless draw, and it was decided on penalty. So in the quarterfinals, no goal has been scored yet. And then hopefully we hope to see goals today in the match between between North Korea and Japan. I'm talking about North Korea so far in this competition, in this ongoing competition. They are yet to lose any match. They've not lost any match. They've won all their matches. And then they scored 15 goals, conceded 2 goals. And then in their first match, talking about North Korea now, in their first match, they defeated Mexico 2-0. In their second match, they defeated Cameroon 2-1. In their third match, they defeated Netherlands 5-0. And then in the round of 16, they defeated Morocco 6-1. So the North Koreans have been scoring goals. They've really been scoring goals. They scored 15 goals and they've conceded 2 goals. So it shows how good they are offensively. It also shows how good they are defensively. They are such a compact team. And then they've got such pedigree in Under-17 women's football. They won it 3 times. And so again, we are going to see them tonight. Talking about Japan. As I said, Japan have won the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup once, and that was in 2014. But then, in the history of the FIFA Under-17 World Cups, Japan have been champions once, they've been runners-up 2 times, and they've been to the quarterfinals 5 times. What a record. That's a very impressive record. I mean, talking about Japan, they call them young, they call them young Nadeshiko. Sorry if I'm wrong, but that's what they call them. Let me get the name right before we go ahead. They call them Little Nadeshiko. I only said young, so it's the same. They call them Little Nadeshiko. That's talking about the Japanese. They call them Little Nadeshiko. So in this of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, they've been impressive. They won the championship once. That was in 2014. They've been runners-up 2 times. That's talking about Japan. And they've been to the quarterfinals 5 times. That's a very impressive record. In other words, they've not failed to go beyond the group stage. So that's a very good record from the Japanese. And then in this ongoing competition, Japan has scored 10 goals and they have conceded 1 goal. In their first match, they defeated New Zealand 3-0. That's talking about Japan. They defeated New Zealand 3-0. In their second match, they defeated Zambia 2-0. In their third match, they played a 1-1 draw with Paraguay. And then in the round of 16, they defeated Colombia 4-0. So the Japanese team are also very hot right now. They're really a quality team. So as I said, what the match is going to be tonight, what the cracker of the match is going to be tonight. Don't forget that 24 teams started this competition. In the round of 16, they were narrowed down to the 24 teams started this competition. And then the best 16 were chosen, and then in the round of 16 they went there, they played, and then they've been narrowed down to 8 teams now. Okay, and now we no longer even have 8 teams now. One of them have gone, which is talking about Canada. Canada have gone. Canada lost to Brazil, so they are out already. So we now have 7 teams left now. 7 teams, and then the very first team to book their place in the semi-finals in this competition is Brazil. So Brazil won their match today. They defeated Canada on penalties. The match ended in a goalless draw, and it was decided on penalties. And the Brazilians were clinical, taking their penalties. 5-4. They won 5-4. They didn't miss any. They won all their penalties. So kudos to the Brazilian team for this feat, for qualifying for the semi-final of this competition. So we have a match tonight in North Korea and Japan. We have a match tonight in North Korea and Japan. Two former champions, and then we have the very incumbent champion, or the defending champions in North Korea. North Korea are the defending champions. Japan are former champions as well. Talk about North Korea. Look at the players that have scored goals for them. They have Yoo Jong-hyun plays as a forward, and in this ongoing competition, she has scored 5 goals. She has scored the highest goals for North Korea in this competition. The highest goals scored so far in this competition. The highest goals scored so far is 5 goals, and 3 players have the 5 goals. There's an Italian who has has also scored 5 goals. We also have North Korea scoring 5 goals, and then we have the player from Japan in Noah Fukushima also scoring 5 goals. So we have 3 players scoring 5 goals so far in this competition. So take a look at North Korea. North Korea, they have Yoo Jong-hyun, who plays as a forward and has scored 5 goals for them in this ongoing competition. And then they also have Kim Won-sim. Kim Won-sim also plays as a forward for North Korea, and she has scored 4 goals in this competition, not 5 goals. So the highest goal scorer for Japan so far in this ongoing competition, the highest goal scorer for North Korea so far in this ongoing competition is Yoo Jong-hyun. And for Japan, the highest goal scorer for them so far in this ongoing competition is Noah Fukushima. And then Noah Fukushima plays as a midfielder. She's a very quality player. Talking about Noah Fukushima, she's such a versatile player. She can play as a creative midfielder. And then last year, at the last edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, she played at the right back. The 4 matches Japan played, she played at the right back position. That's talking about Noah Fukushima. She's such a versatile player for Japan. So she can play as a creative midfielder, and she can play as a defender at the right back. And then at the last edition in Dominican Republic, she played at the right back position for them. And then prior to the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Dominican Republic last year at the AFC Under-17 Women's Championship, she played as a midfielder for Japan. And then at the World Cup last year in Dominican Republic, she played as a right back. So she's such a versatile player. That's talking about Japan. So as I said already, in this competition, 130 goals have been scored. We've seen 130 goals were scored in the group stage, and 36 matches were played in the group stage. In the round of 16, 27 goals were scored, and then we saw 8 matches played. And now we're in the quarterfinals, and we are yet to see any goal, because earlier today, Brazil and Canada played out a goalless draw, and then the match was decided on penalty kicks. And so we are yet to see any goal in the quarterfinals. Now, let me quickly read out the round of 16 fixtures, or the results rather, the round of 16 results, because to get to the quarterfinals, some matches were played in the round of 16. So let me just read out the results. United States of America played a 1-0 draw with Netherlands. That's in the round of 16. USA played a 1-0 draw with Netherlands, and it was decided on penalties. And Netherlands won 7-6 on penalties. I'm talking about Netherlands. One interesting thing about them is that they qualified for the round of 16 as one of the best top-place teams. That's talking about Netherlands. They qualified as one of the best top-place teams. They met United States. United States finished first from their group. And here we are, Netherlands. Netherlands are going to be playing in the quarterfinals because they defeated USA on penalties, 7-6 on penalties after the match ended 1-0. So it just shows you that football is highly unpredictable. Football is not mathematics. That team A beats team C, or that team A defeated team B does not mean that team A will defeat team C when B defeats C. So football is not mathematics actually. And then let me just read out the round of 16 results once again. United States of America played a 1-0 draw with Netherlands, and it was decided on penalties, and it ended 7-6 on penalties. Brazil defeated China 3-0. I said it earlier, in the round of 16, they defeated China 3-0, and now they also won their quarterfinal match. So that's talking about Brazil. And also, Italy defeated Nigeria 4-0. Italy defeated our Flamingos of Nigeria 4-0. What a match that was. We saw the Flamingos at the beginning of the match. They looked good, They were not rattled by the Italians. They were not really dominated by the Italians. And then in the course of the game, a lot of things happened. So many things changed in the course of the game that we really cannot, but then what we have now is Italy 4, Nigeria 0. And then Nigeria are out because they lost comprehensively to Italy by 4-0. North Korea defeated Morocco 6-1. North Korea defeated Morocco 6-1 in the round of 16. Mexico defeated Paraguay 1-0. Spain played a goalless draw with France, and then the match was also decided on penalties, and France won 5-4 on penalties. That's talking about round of 16. Canada defeated Zambia 6-0. Like in this competition, we've really seen goals. We've really seen so many goals. We've seen high margins, matches ending with high margins. Imagine 6-0, 6-1, so much, as in so many goals in this competition. And lastly, we saw Japan defeating Colombia 4-0. So that was the round of 16. So those are the matches played in the round of 16. And now in the quarterfinals, let me read out the quarterfinal fixtures. Earlier today, we saw, as I said, Brazil defeated Canada 5-4 on penalties after the match ended in a goalless draw. Then North Korea will take on Japan by 8 p.m. By 8 p.m. Then tomorrow is Sunday, France will take on Netherlands by 4:30 p.m. and Mexico will take on Italy by 8 p.m. tomorrow. 8 p.m. Nigerian time anyway. 8 p.m. Nigerian time. So now looking at North Korea, looking at their journey in this competition, how did they get to the quarterfinals? In the group stage, North Korea were in Group B. In the group stage, they were in Group B alongside teams like Mexico, Netherlands, and Cameroon. And as I said it earlier, they finished. North Korea are yet to lose any match in this competition. They've won all their matches. So far it's been 100. They've had 100% record so far. They've won all their matches. So in the first, so they finished with 9 points from Group B, 9 points. And they finished 3 points ahead of Mexico. Mexico finished second with 6 points. Netherlands finished third with 3 points, and Cameroon finished fourth with no points. So in the first match, North Korea, that's in the group stage, North Korea defeated Mexico 2-0. In the second match, North Korea defeated Cameroon 2-1. And in the third match, North Korea defeated Netherlands 5-0. And in the round of 16, North Korea defeated Morocco 6-1. 6-1. So that was how they got to the quarterfinals. So looking at Japan were in Group F. Talking about the Japanese, the young Nadeshiko, or the little Nadeshiko, that's what they call them. That's their nickname, the little Nadeshiko, or the young Nadeshiko. They were in Group F, and then they finished first from Group F, talking about Japan, ahead of teams like Paraguay, Zambia, and New Zealand. Japan finished they finished first with 7 points. Paraguay also finished second in that group with 7 points as well. But Japan finished with a higher goal difference. Japan finished with a goal difference of +5, while Paraguay finished with a goal difference of +4. So in the group, Japan were first with 7 points, Paraguay second, 7 points as well, and then Zambia third with 3 points, and New Zealand were fourth with no points. So Japan qualified as the winner of that group to the round of 16. And then look at the matches played by Japan in the competition. In their first match, Japan defeated New Zealand 3-0. In the second match, Japan defeated Zambia 2-0. And in the third match, Japan played a 1-1 draw with Paraguay. In the round of 16, Japan defeated Colombia 4-0. So in this ongoing competition, Japan has scored 10 goals and they have considered 1 goal, while North Korea has scored 15 goals and they have considered. So what a cracker of a match we have tonight. What a cracker of a match between two former champions. Oh, we still have an incumbent champion, or we still have the defending champions, the North Korea. But talking about Japan, they also won it in 2014. And talking about North Korea, they won the maiden edition or the inaugural edition in 2008. And then they also won the last edition in 2000. That was the last year in the Dominican Republic. So talking about North Korea, they won it 3 times now. I'm going to read out the number of times, the years they won it. So Looking at the North Korea squad in this competition, for the benefit of those who don't know them, for us to be conversant with them, their goalkeepers, here are the goalkeepers: Kim Sung Jeong. We also have Kim Sung Jin. There is Gu Mi. Then for the defenders, we have Yoon Jin A. There's Ri Jin A as well. There's Oh Jin Sin. There's Kim Yeon A. There's Ryu Jin Ju. There's Yo Yang. There's Park Kun Mi. And there's Kim Soo Rim. So those are the defenders for North Korea. Then for the midfielders, we have Park Soo Rim, Ri Ui Jeong. So pardon me if I'm not pronouncing the names well. Chong Gong. We also have Ri Kyung Im. There's Park Rai Young. And there's we have Ju Jong Eun. Talking about Ju Jong Eun, she has scored 5 goals for North Korea in this competition, and she has been so prolific, scoring 5 goals. She has really been prolific, scoring 5 goals. Then there's Kim Won Sin, that's another prolific goal scorer. The two of them play as forwards, and she has also scored 4 goals for Japan in this ongoing competition. They are forwards. Then they also have Ri Ye Rim, and there's Kim Sung Yo. The head coach is Park Sung Jin. They're looking at Japan, the squad for Japan. The goalkeepers, we have Kao Kumazawa, there's Rena Yamauchi, there's Asuka Segiguchi, and for the defenders, we have Yuna Miyazaki, there's Yuna Aoki, there's Mihiro Furukawa, there's Emma Masuoka, there's Mone Sato, there's Kelly Nereo, and there's Ena Koizumi. Then for the midfielders, we have Momoka Sano Onoka Sunaga. There's Noah Fukushima. Talking about Noah Fukushima, she was one I mentioned earlier for Japan. She has scored 5 goals for them already. She's a joint scorer. She's a joint top scorer in this ongoing competition. And I said she's such a versatile player. Talking about Noah Fukushima, she's such a versatile player. She can play as a midfielder, as a creative midfielder, and she can play as a right back. She's such a versatile player. And in this ongoing competition, she has scored 5 goals for Japan. That's talking about Noah Fukushima. And then for the midfielders as well, we also have Yuna Takahashi. There's also Hirosato. There's Nico Shikida. There's Chizuru Ida. Then for the forwards, we have Kanoa Nakamura. There's Nanami Taira. There's Ua Ono. And there's Manami Sato. So that's the squad for Japan. Their coach is Sadayoshi Shirai. That's the name of their coach. They're looking at those who have scored goals for North Korea. If you're just joining me, by the way, I'm doing the preview of the match between North Korea and Japan. They're going to play by 8 p.m. Nigerian time today. And what a cracker of the match that is going to be. It's going to be a match between 2 former champions. Japan have won this once, and that was in 2014. North Korea are the defending champions, and they have 3 titles to their record. They have 3 titles to their record now. 3 titles. They won the very inaugural edition. That's talking about North Korea. They won the inaugural edition in 2008, and then so they've won it 3 times now. That's talking about North Korea, and then they've been very fantastic in this ongoing competition. North Korea has scored 15 goals, and they have conceded only 2 goals. They have been very fantastic. Breathtaking. In their first match, North Korea defeated Mexico 2-0. In the second match, they defeated Cameroon 2-1. And in their third match, they defeated Netherlands 5-0. In the round of 16, North Korea defeated Morocco 6-1. So they've really been very hot. Terrific, superb, spectacular. Everything describes North Korea. I'm talking about Japan as well. They've not done badly today. They've been so impressive. In this ongoing competition, Japan has scored 10 goals and they have conceded 1 goal. Japan in their first match defeated New Zealand 3-0. In their second match, they defeated Zambia 2-0. In their third match, they played a 1-0 draw with Paraguay. And in the round of 16, Japan defeated Colombia 4-0. So they've also been very terrific. They've also been very terrific. But North Korea are yet to lose any match in this competition. For Japan have won 3 matches and they have drawn 1. They played a 1-0 draw with Paraguay. That was the only match they drew. So Japan in this ongoing competition have won 3 matches and they have drawn 1. And what a match we have tonight. We've got a game in our hand. What a cracker of the match is going to be between 2 former champions. And then the very one, North Korea are the defending champions. So the 2 of them are going to play tonight by 8 p.m. Nigerian time. At the last edition, talking about Japan, at the last edition, they didn't go beyond the quarterfinals. They got to the quarterfinals at the last edition. They met England. That's talking about Japan. They met England in the quarterfinals, and then they played a draw. The match ended in a draw. The match between Japan and England ended in a draw, and Japan lost on penalties. That was at the last edition. They lost on penalties in the quarterfinals. And then talking about the last edition in Dominican Republic, only 16 teams featured at the last edition. So there wasn't a round of 16. The top two in each group. That's 16 teams. That's in four groups. The top teams went. The top teams went 8. So they were joined by. So what I'm saying in essence is that there was no round of 16 in the last edition. From the group stage, they just moved straight to the quarterfinals. But in this edition, because we have 24 teams, now we have round of 16 and we have quarterfinals. So at the last edition, Japan got to the quarterfinals, but there was no round of 16 at the last edition. So look at the players who have scored for North Korea in this ongoing tournament. We have Yoo-jong-in and Kim Won-sin. Talking about Yoo-jong-in, I mentioned that earlier. I said she has scored 5 goals, and then 3 players have scored 5 goals in this tournament, and she's one of them. Another player who has also scored 5 goals is Noah Fukushima, and there's Gali for Italy, who has also scored 5 goals in this competition. So let me just read out the goal scorers for North Korea. We have Yoo-jong-in, there's Kim Won-sin, there's Kerai, there's YRIO, there's KR and JR. So for Japan, for the goal scorers for Japan, we have Yuna Aoki, there's Noah Fukushima, there's Nico Shikida, we have Onoka Sunaga, there's of course Noah Fukushima has scored 4 goals, so she's on every game now. As in she has scored, her name is everywhere now on the list. She scored in the first match, that's talking about Noah Fukushima. She scored in their second match as well. She scored in their third match, and she scored in the round of 16. So Noah Fukushima has scored for Japan in every match in this ongoing tournament. Other goal scorers are Ono, that's it. Okay, so these are the goal scorers for Japan. We have, Japan has scored 10 goals, as I said. So out of those 10 goals, Noah Fukushima has scored 5 goals of those 10 goals. Another goal scorers are Yuna Aoki, Nico Shikida, Uahono, and then Onoka Sunaga. So those are the goal scorers for Japan in this ongoing competition. Now, I'm going to talk about Japan. Let me just talk about Japan, how they qualified for this event. They qualified for this year's edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup by being nominated by AFC, that's Asia. They were nominated by AFC based on performances from past 3 AFC Under-17 Women's Asian Cups. That's talking about Japan. That's how they qualified for this year's edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. They qualified by being nominated by AFC based on performances from past 3 AFC Under-17 Women's Asian Cups. And their best result at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup was winning it in 2014. That's talking about Japan. And this is their 9th appearance at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. I'm talking about, the other time I was talking about Noah Fukushima. She's really a player to watch out for in Japan, Noah Fukushima, because apart from scoring 5 goals in this ongoing tournament, she has scored 5 goals and she's a joint top scorer. She's such a versatile player. I said it. She can play as a creative midfielder. She can play at right back. She's a versatile player. So she plays as a creative midfielder. And then she can also play at right back. And then she also featured for Japan at the last edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Dominican Republic. She featured at the last edition and she played all their 4 matches at the last edition before they exited from the round of 16 from the quarterfinals at the last edition. Now looking at Japan at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, how has Japan fared, or how have they fared generally at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup? They got to the quarterfinals in 2008, and then by the way, 2008 was the maiden edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. That was the inaugural edition. That was the first time the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup started. That was when it kick-started in 2008. So at that particular edition, Japan got to the quarterfinals. Then in 2010, Japan finished as runners-up. In 2012, Japan got to the quarterfinals. In 2014, Japan were champions. And then in 2016, they finished as runners-up. Then in 2018, they got to the quarterfinals. In 2022, in 2022, they got to the quarterfinals as well. And then they got to the quarterfinals in the last edition. So that's why I said they really have an impressive record at the FIFA Under-17 Men's World Cup, because they have never failed to go beyond the group stage. Since their maiden appearance, they've never failed to go beyond the group stage. Their best result at this stage has been winning it in 2014, emerging as runners-up 2 times, and then getting to the quarterfinals 5 times. That's talking about Japan. So that's why. So in general, Japan have won the FIFA Under-17 Men's World Cup once, and they finished as runners-up 2 times, and they have gotten to the quarterfinals 5 times. So that's all about Japan. Now let's look at North Korea. For North Korea, with the exception of Costa Rica 2014, that was the edition of the 2014 took place in Costa Rica. So with the exception of that edition in 2014, North Korea have advanced beyond the group stage at every FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup that they have contested. That's talking about North Korea, or Korea DPR. They are referred to as Korea DPR as well. So with the exception of Costa Rica 2014, North Korea have advanced beyond the group stage at every FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup they have contested. So it was only in 2014 that they couldn't make it beyond the group stage. And then North Korea qualified for this year's edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup as first place in the AFC qualifying ranking. So they qualified, that's talking about North Korea. They qualified for this year's edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup as first place in the AFC qualifying ranking. The player to watch, of course, in North Korea is Yoo Jong-hyun. She plays as the forward, and she has scored 5 goals for them in this ongoing competition. And there's also Kim Son as well, who has scored 4 goals for them. So these are the players to watch in North Korea. I'm talking about North Korea. For North Korea, this is their 8th appearance at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. North Korea are the most successful team in the history of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, because they won the competition they won the title a record 3 times. They won it in 2008, that was the maiden edition. They won it in 2016, and they won it in 2024. That's talking about North Korea. So they won it in 2008, they won it in 2016, and they won it in 2024. Now looking at North Korea at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, North Korea won the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in 2008. That was their maiden edition. Then in 2010, they finished in 4th place in 2010. In 2012, they finished as runners-up. In 2014, they didn't go beyond the group stage. In 2016, they were champions. And then in 2018, they got to the quarterfinals. And in 2024, they were champions. So North Korea are the defending champions of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. And they're going to defend their title today against Japan, who is also a former champion. So they will defend their title today. Before I go into the match update, let's look at North Korea at the last edition. North Korea won the last edition. They won the last edition in Dominican Republic. So let's just look at their record at the last edition. They were in Group C. North Korea were in Group C at the last edition. They were in Group C with the likes of England, Kenya, and of course Mexico. And North Korea were first. They finished first from that group with 9 points. England was second. England finished second from the group with 6 points. Kenya finished third with 3 points, and Mexico finished fourth with no points. So in their first match, North Korea defeated. That was at the last edition I'm talking about. Last edition where they became defending champions. So in their first match, they defeated Mexico 4-1. In their second match, they defeated Kenya 3-0. In their third match, they defeated England 4-0. In the round of 16, they defeated Poland 1-0. Sorry, there was no round of 16. In the quarterfinal, they defeated Poland 1-0. Then in the semi-final, they defeated the United States 1-0. And in the final, they defeated Spain 4-3 on penalties. They defeated Spain 4-3 on penalties after the match ended. Excuse me. So the match, in fact, Korea are already leading Japan 3-1. You know, the match is ongoing. And they just scored their third goal now. So North Korea are leading. And then, so who scored the third goal? Who else has scored the third goal? If not for the player I was talking about. I mean, the player has already scored 5 goals for them. She has already scored the third goal now. And so I think this is her 6th goal now in this ongoing competition. This is her 6th goal. Talking about what? Talking about Ju Young. Talking about Young. So North Korea already leading by 3 goals to 1. What a game.